Pikmin 4 is a game Nintendo has been talking about for years now, and we still haven't seen it. Pikmin 4 was first talked about back in 2015, and while there is some debate about whether they meant Hey Pikmin instead, Nintendo wasn't really in charge of that game. And it wasn't called Pikmin 4, so I'm pretty sure they meant the actual Pikmin 4. And in 2017, it was brought up again, almost certainly talking about the actual Pikmin 4. But this video isn't talking about where Pikmin 4 is. I did make a video on that though. Plug. This video is talking about how Pikmin 4 will impact the Pikmin series of games overall. Because while there definitely is a fan base for Pikmin, the games have never sold all that well. Each Pikmin game has sold a little over 1 million copies, which isn't that great. But is it destined to be that way forever, or can Pikmin 4 make Pikmin huge? Hello all 440 of you, I'm Redkwan, and can Pikmin 4 finally make Pikmin a big series? Well, firstly, is there any good reason why Pikmin games haven't sold well in the past? And if so, can it be fixed? Honestly, if you look at it, I think a huge reason the Pikmin games haven't done too well is the fact that every main Pikmin game has come out on a pretty underperforming system. Both the GameCube and the Wii U kinda flopped in terms of sales. The GameCube wasn't quite on the Wii U level though. And I know, there were ports to the Wii, which did do well, but I mean, 1, they were ports, which means they automatically aren't seen as new games, and 2, it was the Wii, so all anyone cared about was bowling with motion controls! So part of what I feel is holding the Pikmin games back is the systems they ended up selling on. Can that improve with Pikmin 4? You better believe it! The Switch is a great place to put games, because not only is there a huge and growing audience, but that audience is also, unlike the Wii, not obsessed with motion controls, and actually play a lot of games, and a lot of games that might have seemed more obscure but reviewed well, and Pikmin definitely falls into that category. The Switch is a great place to put a Pikmin game, exposing it to a huge new audience that hasn't had the opportunity to try the series before, or who never really gave it a chance, and probably ending up greatly expanding the Pikmin fan base. And I think it's a big part of what Pikmin 4 can do for Pikmin. But part of the issue goes deeper for the series. It's harder for Nintendo's series that didn't start at the beginning to catch on. Mario and Zelda are so well established that they have no problem getting people to pick up the games. But series like Pikmin, which started later in Nintendo's history, don't have that advantage, which can make it harder. But somehow, something like Splatoon can jump out of nowhere on an unpopular system at the end of its life and do incredibly well. How is that? Are some series just never meant to be popular? I don't think that's really it. I think a big key to finding success is how you sell it. Splatoon was made out to be a fun new type of shooter from Nintendo that was full of fast-paced fun. Pikmin, on the other hand, is sort of a slow and relaxing game, and there's nothing wrong with that necessarily, but you need to make it seem like it's cool. Give Alamar some shades or something. Pikmin just needs to have a more exciting image, I feel like. There's nothing wrong with the games themselves, but the way they're presented might not catch people's attention as much as other games do. So if Nintendo changes the way Pikmin games look or play in Pikmin 4 to impress people, that might help Pikmin expand. But I feel like at least the main style will be the same as in the past games. But even with the same style, I think Pikmin 4 could help to popularize the series, and that mainly comes down to Nintendo's recent marketing. The marketing for the Switch and Switch games has been way better than that of most of the old Nintendo systems, and to be fair, the bar was pretty low, but they have done a much better job. So even with a similar style for Pikmin 4, the improved marketing of Nintendo could definitely make a big impact on the sales of the game, and because of that, the sales of the series overall. So based on the Switch having a huge audience of people who would buy Pikmin in comparison to the previous systems Pikmin games have come out on, and Nintendo's vastly improved marketing, likely making people more interested and excited for the game, it should sell better than Pikmin games in the past by quite a bit. But is there still that chance that despite it selling better, Pikmin won't and can't ever really be a popular series? Will these things really help that much? And to be honest, it's kinda hard to say. Because while the games are really good, and there are definitely some factors that are responsible for it not being terribly popular, it isn't a guarantee that it will take off when everything goes right. When you look at a game series like Pikmin, it is a little hard to see it being a huge thing. It's just very uncommon for something like that to really take off these days that isn't fully 3D, full of intense action, and complete with amazing graphics. It isn't impossible, but a series like Pikmin is at a disadvantage. So, can Pikmin 4 make Pikmin popular? This may be me being hopelessly optimistic, or subconsciously pandering to the Pikmin fans that comprise a huge chunk of my channel, but I think it has a decent chance. Also, in case I didn't just pander to Pikmin fans enough, Pikmin rules! Wow! It's partially because the Nintendo Switch provides so many opportunities, like a huge audience of people who actually want to play the games, as opposed to the other systems Pikmin has appeared, and partially because Nintendo will probably be able to market it pretty darn well to get people interested. And while Pikmin might, in its current form, not really be something that can appeal to the masses, I kinda think Nintendo fans are a different beast than the general market, and can jump on board with slower paced, less technically impressive games. Sure, they'll tell you how they got 30 kills in Fortnite with just traps, or their love for Sonic Forces, but they also eat up more relaxed games like Animal Crossing. It would probably be hard to attract a lot of outside people with Pikmin 4 unless they change something up in a crazy new way, which I do doubt, but within the Nintendo community, the people who own Switches, there is still a ton of room to grow. And I think if presented in the right way, at the right time, on the right system, all of which seem likely for Pikmin 4, Pikmin 4 can make Pikmin a lot more popular. And if Pikmin 4 sells a lot better, that will create a lot of new fans, create more demand for the series, and in the end, start a cycle of Pikmin games being a much bigger Nintendo property. Or it'll fall flat, Nintendo will never make another Pikmin game again. Because with a Redkwan prediction, it's probably not right. Well, I'm Redkwan. What do you think about Pikmin 4 and how do you think it'll do? Do you think it can make the Pikmin series popular? Do you even think it's coming? That's actually still a question. Plug! Anyways, I'm Redkwan. Thank you all for watching, and I'll hopefully see you all later. Goodbye.